Good evening, everybody. Thank you for logging on. My name is Jennifer Kenny. I'm a project coordinator at Suffolk County Community College Entrepreneurial Assistance Center. Online with us, we have Ms. Kenya Harvey, who is our MWBE specialist. We have Javid, who works our tech and live streaming. And we have presenting with us Miss Natalie. She works at the center with us, and she is presenting tonight social media one-on-one for small businesses. Natalie, you can take it
Okay,
away.
thank you very much, Jen, for the very nice introduction.
Welcome.
Hi, everyone. So like Jen said, I'm Natalie. Today I'm going to be going and talking to you about social media 101 for small businesses. Just the importance of social media for your business and how best to leverage it. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and go quickly a little bit about me. So I'm a digital marketer and brand strategist. I have over 5 years of experience working at some of the world's largest advertising agencies, working with brands like Dove, Dr. Scholl, and Taz OT. And I also go ahead and have been working for the past 6 years as a freelance digital marketer, working with smaller businesses to build their online presence and their brand. Okay. This is actually a webinar. I do this sometimes in class series style, so I unfortunately can't ask you. Actually, well, I guess can Jen, can everyone go ahead and chat into the box? I'm going to assume so.
Everyone should have the chat option, yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do this. So yeah, I'd just like to know a little bit about you guys. So just if you can put to the chat box your name, what your business is or your prospective business. Do you currently use social media for your business? And if so, what platforms do you use? So I'll give everyone a second to answer their questions. Hi, Sophia. Okay, so we have Alexander. Hi, Alexander. Consulting and I guess someone will. Okay, so we have Sophia. The name is Dawes for the business, I'm going to assume. Could you elaborate a little bit more on that, Sophia? I'm curious, what does DOS do? And social media, you said yes, Facebook and Instagram. Okay, perfect. And then we have Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie. She said she does media consulting platform. Oh, great. What's the face? It's very in line with what we're talking about today. Do you do like media production, or is it more of kind of like social media? A little bit of I guess they go hand in hand together. Then you use Instagram, Facebook, similar to Sophia. Alexander, I think your chat might have gotten deleted a little bit earlier. And then okay, Sophia Sadash is a financial literacy company. Okay, cool. Okay, thank you for elaborating. And then we have Tina. I remember you from I think Tina, you've gone ahead and taken a course with me before, organic aloe vera for people who have radiation therapy. Yep, I remember.
Yes, I have. Yeah, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I just changed the scope. It was going to be an organic aloe vera in general for women between 40 and 60, but my brother had a brain tumor, and the radiation gave him a real bad sores, and so a physical therapist told me that I should switch my aloe vera to be used for people who are going through radiation. So I changed it so that I can help people.
Gotcha. That's cool. And yeah, it's always good to go ahead and niche down whenever you can, to go ahead and so you can really target the audiences, and the fact that it's for a good cause, that's really great. So that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course. Okay, and then we have Alexander. He says business consulting and a parent company. You do in terms of social media for networking and marketing. Okay, I guess 2 questions for that. I guess everyone should be able to go out and speak now. I think Jen went ahead and switched it to a more of a course format. So I guess Alexander, for your company, you said a parent company. Do you mean like parenting, or do you mean like you have an overall parent like company, and then
Parent
underneath that.
structure with subsidiaries, yes. So
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha,
couldn't be
gotcha.
more, yeah, I didn't go too in depth with the chat in the chat there. Sorry about that.
Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. I know it's kind of hard to sometimes just like type out something really quick. So that's cool. Okay, cool. And then you use your social media for marketing and networking. Which do you know which platforms do you use in particular?
Yeah, we use Facebook, Instagram, and we kind of get into that TikTok lane with short videos and posts to reach out.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Okay, so you cover God and go across a decent amount of them. Look at that, overachieving. Great.
Thank
And
you.
then Stephanie, so Stephanie, you said you didn't get the question? Didn't get the question, it's Stephanie. I think, did you not answer Stephanie earlier, about the media consultant platform business? I see she's on her iPhone. Okay. Okay, you said no. Okay. I guess, and I was just asking about the media consulting platform. Like, what specific type of media do you go ahead and work with? Is it more like digital media? Is it and what type of digital media? Is it video? Is it like photography? Oh, TV. Oh, okay, wow, fancy. I used to go ahead and work with a lot of TV at my old job. Very, very interesting space to go ahead and to be in. So that's cool. Public access TV. Gotcha, 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 gotcha. Okay, and then you said you use Instagram and Facebook. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Okay, so we have a lot of Instagram, Facebook. We have one who's going ahead and dabbling a little bit into TikTok. And then I think that's kind of covers it across the board. Okay, cool. Okay, well, nice to meet all of you. Actually, I think we have one more person I see. Actually, two more people. Sonia, J Rose, do you don't have to necessarily type into the chat, but could either of one of you go ahead and just give me a little bit of background about yourselves, your name, your business or prospective business, if you use social media, and if so, which platforms do you use?
Somebody, hello. I don't even know what's going on right now.
Is that Sonia or J
No,
Rose,
I guess
or...
somebody unmuted me. This is Stephanie. I don't.
Okay, hi
I'm
Stephanie.
Sonia.
Okay.
Okay, hi Sonia.
Hi. I can't see.
If you do want to go ahead and give a little bit of background and answer the questions.
Hi, I'm Sonia. I'm not on any social platform as yet, but I started a
Okay.
travel company.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Is it a travel company, meaning like as in like kind of like a travel agency company where you're helping people plan their trips, or is it like, I guess, what in particular within travel?
Yes, help people plan their trips.
Gotcha, 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 gotcha. Okay, and you said not yet on social, but like I said, we're here to change that, so that's great.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Sonia. And then I see we have one other person went ahead and joined, Thelma. Hi, Thelma. Do you have access to your microphone?
I guess somebody has to give access because somebody had just gave me access.
Gotcha, 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 gotcha. Okay, well, if you can't go ahead and speak, then you could always go ahead and type into the chat too. But just would love to go ahead and know, just like, I already know your name, hi Thumb, but your business or prospective business, if you're looking to open one, if you currently use social media for your business, and if so, which social platforms do you use?
Looking forward to open women's clothing boutique, and I'm not online still.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. What kind of, if you don't mind me asking, what kind of women's boutique? Like more so just like general clothes for younger women, for older women? What kind of like, give me a little background about the demographics.
Yes, it would be more like between 18 and 40s, let's say.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Is it more casual, more formal, like a little bit of just a mix of everything?
And it's a mix. It's gonna be some casual, formal.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Okay, well, thank you very much for sharing. And you said not on social yet. Okay, correct. Yeah, right. Okay, perfect. Okay, like I said, nice to meet you all.
Is Is
Do you
this
have-
gonna
I'm sorry.
teach us how to, I'm sorry, is this gonna teach us how to market our brands on the social media platform?
Yes, so this class basically, if I go to the next slide, just to give an overview, this whole presentation is about why social media is important for your business, and then how you can go ahead and begin to go ahead and leverage it, trying to figure out which platforms might be best for your business, best practices for each platform, like how to leverage each one for your business, depending on the type of business that you're going ahead and you're moving forward with, and just like a kind of like a broad idea of kind of just in terms of content to go ahead and produce, how many times a week you should be posting, but exactly how to market your business on social media. A kind of one-on-one introduction about everything social.
And introducing ways so we can have capture pages in some retrospect. Are we able to use those tools and create like opt-in and capture pages through social media?
Yep, exactly. So like capture pages being like landing pages, places to go ahead and drive your traffic to, exactly.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And on that note, I'll just go ahead and dive in. I know we only have about a little under like an hour and 15 minutes, and I do like to save some time at the end for some questions. But if you guys have any questions at all as I go ahead and go through this, feel free to go ahead and ask. I like to keep it conversational. So yeah. So I mean, for the most part, a lot of people usually kind of understand why social is important, but just a little bit of background. So social media can serve as a powerful touch point for your business to connect with new and existing customers alike. Given the right tools, social media can increase your brand awareness, drive traffic to your website, help to build and maintain relationships with your customers, allow you to better understand your customers, and to serve as an authentic reflection of your brand's personality. Okay, so this is just a very broad look about basically the steps to go ahead and leverage social media for your business. So step one, going ahead and defining your goals and objectives. So before you start anything with social, I definitely recommend everyone to go ahead and just plan out exactly why they're going to be on there, what you hope to gain from your social media presence, and again, why you're going ahead and using social media for your business. So it's good to go ahead and jot those down, whether it be in some notebook, whatever it might be going ahead and bringing traffic to your brick and mortar store, or to go ahead and sell online products, to go ahead and to get business leads, to go ahead and connect with your customers. All of these different goals will ladder up to different types of metrics or objectives with your social media, which you can then go ahead and track with different tools that social goes and provides, which we'll go ahead and get into a little bit later. But like I said, step one, just define your goals and your objectives while you're there. Step two, you want to go ahead and choose your platform or your platforms. So you want to identify which social media platforms align best with your business and your audience. Step three, going ahead and planning your strategy, your posting strategy of the what, when and where. And then step four is just to execute and do that consistently. And now I'll go ahead and include some tips on how to go ahead and stay consistent on social, because that's probably one of the most challenging parts about going ahead and posting on social media, is just keeping it consistent and not to overwhelm yourself, but then to go ahead and still be effective. Okay, any questions before I dive in? Okay, cool. Okay, so step one, defining your goals and your objectives. So in terms of your social media goals, you want to start with the big picture, then to get granular. So again, why does your business need a social presence? What resources do you need to make those results a reality? In terms of resources, meaning, again, how are you going to go ahead and make your content? You know, being the fact that social media is it's very visual social. So the question is, are you going to go ahead and be taking videos, taking pictures, creating infographics? These are all different ways that you can go ahead and communicate your brand's messaging and information to people on social. So at the very least, you would want to go ahead and have some type of smartphone. You want to go ahead and make sure that you're leveraging the right tools, like something like a Canva, which I created this presentation and it's completely free for everyone to use. But something like that would be good for going ahead and making like infographics or just little how-to guides or quote posts. But you want to make sure that you have those resources that you're to access. Next being to look and to listen to your target audience. So how are your customers using social media? Where are they at? You know, are your audiences on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? Are they on TikTok? Going ahead and getting a good feel for where your audience is so that way you know which ones to go ahead and leverage and which ones to deprioritize or to stay off altogether. Especially when you're first starting off on social, it's good to kind of just have a laser focus on maybe 1, 2 platforms max. You don't want to go ahead and overextend yourself too much because that just creates a recipe for disaster and for burnout very fast, especially when you're just going ahead and getting started. So going ahead and having that focus on that one that's going to make the most impact. And then also the question of what types of content does your audience want to see? Are they looking for educational content? You know, I'm trying to remember who exactly it was, but I know someone said they were doing financial services. Financial services is definitely something that your audience is going to go ahead and want to know a lot of information about. There's a lot to go and talk about with financial services. So like in that case, you would go ahead and do something maybe a little more educational content, whether that's, you know, going ahead and giving short clips on like, you know, what to go ahead and do during tax season for certain things, or how to go ahead and, you know, balance out your business asset sheets. I'm not financial experts. It's probably very wrong, but yeah, educational content. Then you also want to think about how social media fits into your business goals. So are you looking to go ahead and create brand awareness? Brand awareness basically being just the amount of people who are familiar with your brand, kind of the top of mind, kind of like, oh, I've heard of that company before. Are you looking to go ahead and increase online sales, drive foot traffic to your store? And of course, all of these things can go ahead and be important to your business, but you really want to hone in on the most important. For like net new, brand new companies, brands, the awareness is going to go ahead and be the most important factor because no one's going to know about your business. You can, of course, go ahead and sales can be important, but the most important thing is to go ahead and get the awareness of your brand so that way you can eventually drive those sales versus a business that might be a little bit more mature and might have a little bit of audience behind it, then it becomes a more important thing to go ahead and really drive those sales. And then last but not least, just tying your business goals to your social media metrics and KPIs. KPIs standing for key performance indicators, which are basically those metrics that are basically like impressions, which are the number of eyeballs that have seen, whether it be your ad or your post or whatever it might go ahead and be. You know, engagements, which might go ahead and be link clicks. I think I have a built out slide on the next one. Yeah, so these basically are a chart of basically different KPIs or different metrics that you would go ahead and basically align with depending on your business goals. So the first little sliver of the chart, the business objective being to grow the brand. So again, those are for those net new brands or just brands in general who want to go ahead and grow their audience. So your social media goal would there be awareness. And the metrics that you will want to look at would be the number of followers that you have, the number of followers that you go ahead and increase by day, shares to your account, etc. The next business objective would go ahead and be engagement. So those are turning customers into advocates. So that's just to go ahead and show how audiences basically are interacting with your content. So that's something like comments and likes and mentions. So basically just want your followers to go ahead and basically interact with your content and to go ahead and dive a little bit deeper into going ahead and getting to know your brand and kind of getting closer down the funnel to going ahead and making that sale or the conversion. Then there's driving the actual sales or leads. Those are the conversions. So those would be like the website clicks, the sales themselves, or the email signups, whatever you eventually want your audience to do. And then the last one is just improving customer retention. So those are basically just people sharing your brand message, going ahead and promoting it themselves to go ahead and to basically create a cycle of your customers then going ahead and kind of almost selling your product for you in a sense. Okay, I know this chart is a lot. I know I used a lot of very specific language. Does anybody have any questions about different types of social media objectives?
Natalie, can I ask a question? This is Sophia. How are you? Quick question.
I'm good. How are you?
First, can you tell me what KPI is again? You said key performance what?
Indicators.
Indicators.
Yes.
Okay. And you know, I hear a lot about brand awareness, and it's one of the things that I just don't know like how to do or how to get started
Mhm.
to create that. will you be able to touch on that sometime during this presentation?
Yeah, and I can quickly touch on it now since we're talking about awareness. So I guess in just for I said some context for the question, by creating brand awareness, do you mean I'm trying to go ahead and remember, do you have your social accounts started up? Let me look back at the chat.
I do, but I'm very I guess I guess I will call myself a novice actually. So I'm not really, I don't do a lot now because I'm just really trying to learn the different platforms.
Mhm.
Um, so I do some posting, but not a lot of posting. And the thought behind it was really to I didn't want to start posting until I really had enough content. So and that's my thinking. I don't know, you can maybe give me some advice regarding this. I wanted to have enough content so that when I get started, I'm consistent.
Gotcha. And I understand that sentiment. So I guess the two parters of the question, the first question going ahead and being the awareness aspect. So like I said, awareness is basically just going ahead and trying to get as many involved as your brand and your business. For that, it's good to go ahead and kind of to separate some of the sales portion from the awareness portion. I find that a lot of businesses, when they go ahead and get started, it tends to go ahead and be a message of, buy my product, because of course you want to go ahead and get the sale at the end of the day. But to go ahead and generate awareness, it's more about going ahead and giving your audience what they would want to see. So that way they go ahead and come find you, or they go ahead and they want to go ahead and interact with your brand and to go ahead and invite other people. So it's about going ahead and figuring out like, okay, like what does my audience want to know about like a service like mine? I believe, like I said, I think it was in such your case, I remember, I think you do the financial services.
Yes.
So like I said, it goes back to like the education point. People go ahead and a lot of times come online to go ahead and figure out like how to do this, how to do that. So if you have any, frequently asked questions that a lot of people go ahead and want to know about the financial industry, or specifically with, it'd be good to go ahead and post stuff like that to go ahead and to generate awareness for your brand. To go and provide them with benefits, so that way they go ahead and they like, oh, I want to go ahead and interact with this. Let me go ahead and figure out some more to draw people into your page. Then the second half of the question, it's always like a thing where it's like it's hard to go ahead and to really get started with social. I feel like you just never feel quite ready. You want to go ahead and keep, building up post, or you just don't feel like the post is like the quality is good enough. But like my advice to all people who are starting off on social is just to post, just whatever you can, whenever you can, just post as much as you can. So if that goes ahead and answers your question. So even if you don't feel like you have enough content just to start off with, you can always go ahead and set aside like one day a week just to go ahead and to build and to go ahead and post. Like even if you go ahead and post like once a week to start off, that's okay. And I'll get into that as we go ahead and go further into the slides. But I hope that answers your question.
I have a quick question. Okay, you put for consultant wise, because I'm a brand consultant. How would you go about, you say driving leads into sales? How would we go about driving the leads into sales, being a consultant and having a media platform and intertwining both with social media?
Well, driving them to sales, I guess that would be like, it would be one portion of your overall social media tactics. So going ahead and making sure that you go ahead and still go ahead and hit on those awareness metrics, especially because having, like I said, just having the conversion messaging is going to go ahead and isolate a lot of the audience. Because like I said, going ahead and just, instead of going ahead and providing the benefits, just going ahead and being like, hey, can you benefit me? But like I said, having that as one portion of the strategy to go ahead and to help drive those conversions, you just want to go ahead and make it as easy as possible for people to go ahead and to convert. So that's like going ahead and placing links wherever you can. A lot of times inside of your Instagram or your TikTok or whatever bios, you can go ahead and place links to like Linktree. Linktree is a free kind of like landing page service where you can go ahead and drop all of your links into one kind of seamless page that's very mobile optimized for people to go ahead and to, let's say, like go to specific pages that you want to lead them to. And one of those pages can be, your sign up sheet. for your consulting services or learn more about your consulting services. So it's just making your services super easy to go ahead and define, for people to go ahead and convert. Like I said, placing links where you can, going ahead and making it top of mind for people, and not to go ahead and make it too much of a hassle for them to go ahead and to find. Does that answer your question?
Do Linktree has the customer forms for them to fill out?
They don't know, but they will go ahead and basically make it very easy for people to go ahead and get to those forms. But for the forms themselves, you probably would have to go ahead and build those within whatever whoever's hosting your website. So whether that's like you're using Shopify or Wix or Squarespace, you can go ahead and create the forms on there, and then just that would be the landing page. So you go ahead and post a link on your Linktree, and then you'd have the landing page would be the form itself.
Okay.
Great. Okay, I'll go ahead and move along if no one has any other questions. Anybody have any other questions?
How would you go about getting the engagement? Like is it more visual? Would you say visual, or as I can see people are doing words?
Yeah,
Which
definitely.
one is more impactful, wording or visual?
It depends on the platform. Most across the board, most platforms are very visual, aside from something like a Twitter, which even Twitter is going ahead and it's been leaning towards visual as time goes on, just including like images and stuff like that. But social, everything social is going to be very visual. Video is king. Photos, of course, are effective too, especially if they're high quality. But if you can, videos are fantastic, especially like I said for the engagement. But videos and pictures, copy, of course, is important. Not to say that that words aren't important, especially in terms of SEO. SEO basically just meaning like if people were to go ahead and look up certain keywords around your business, how likely are you to go ahead and to pop up, on the first page, or at a very high rank, so people can go ahead and find.
I thought SEOs was only related to like landing pages and websites. SEOs are for social media engagements too.
Yeah, because most platforms will have some type of search function. And even if they don't have a search function, they'll still have algorithms, which will kind of follow the same kind of formula as a search engine would, where it's like, if they know certain people are going ahead and looking for a certain topic, they'll be more likely to recommend your content over somebody else's content if you go ahead and do stuff like include keywords inside of your description box or your labeling or whatever. So wherever you can in your copy, going ahead and including keywords inside of your captions, even when you go ahead and name the file, even down to like everything that you can label with your keywords, it's going to be good. So like I said, that's why like copy is still important, but where you're really going to go ahead and get the engagement from is from the visuals. But the copy will go ahead and help to go ahead and make sure that people actually see your content, so they know the algorithms and will know what your content is about. Cool. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you.
No, you're fine. Okay, cool. All right, I will go ahead and move along to the second slide then, which goes into the nitty-gritty of choosing your platforms that you're going to post on. So I know most people had said that they go ahead and use Facebook and Instagram, which is great. And it's really, especially with Facebook, using both of them together, it's probably one of the two easiest things to go ahead and use in combination. So if you were to go ahead and get the best bang of your buck from somewhere, it would be a Facebook Instagram combo, just because it's really easy to cross post across them. But I'll dive into kind of, what each platform is for. So Facebook, the average age range for there is about 35 to 55. It's one of the older skewing social platforms, aside from like a LinkedIn and even like Twitter, but Twitter is kind of its own case. The purpose for Facebook for the general population is building and keeping relations. I know since the pandemic, there's also been like a really big push for entertainment also as well too on Facebook. I probably will put that in at some point. In terms of for businesses, I find it best for building brand loyalty, event hosting, especially. Facebook has really good integrations in terms of like planning for events and reminders for events. Kind of similar, they've almost kind of like adopted a sort of Eventbrite kind of situation, but it's more social than Eventbrite would be. And then also local advertising. They have really good targeting for really good local targeting. Especially when you have, like, I know they have Facebook groups that are specific for like, like Long Island, moms, or Long Island, beer enthusiasts. There's a Facebook group for pretty much everything across the board, especially like on a regional basis. The downsides for Facebook is the fact that there's limited reach outside of your network. So aside from going ahead and posting ads on Facebook, which of course you go ahead and can, Facebook doesn't necessarily go ahead and do as good of a job as other platforms at organically pushing out your content to non-followers. So if someone doesn't follow your content, there's going to be a much less likely chance that people outside of your network are going to go ahead and find your content, just because of how Facebook is set up. It's mostly for connecting with friends and building connections that way. So it's a little bit harder to go ahead and get organic reach outside of your network. Okay, then moving on to Instagram. Instagram, younger skewing, 25 to 35. The purpose for the general population being conversation, inspiration. For businesses, I find it best for lead generation, e-commerce. Instagram has some really good integrations with e-commerce. So if you sell anything online, whether that be clothing or services or really anything, it's really, really great for that. You can go ahead and easily go ahead and basically tag your product in your post, and people can just click on it and it'll take them right to the page to go ahead and to actually purchase the product. So super, super seamless way of going ahead and getting that sale, kind of like what you were asking about earlier, Stephanie. Going ahead and getting the conversion, helping, like, you can go ahead and do something like that where you your services or your product right inside of the post. So makes it super easy. And then Instagram is a lot better than Facebook at going ahead and promoting your content to non-followers. They're not the best, but it's definitely better than Facebook. It's not too bad. And then the downsides there being the fact that Instagram is a very crowded space, and the fact that it's image and video only. It takes a lot more effort to go ahead and produce content that goes ahead and stands out amongst the crowd, being the fact that it is so crowded. And it takes a little bit more effort than something like a Facebook, where you can just type out some words or copy and post it out there to the world. For Instagram, you have to go ahead and post like an image or video to your feed. Okay, and then I don't think anybody really touched on Twitter. I don't think anybody's leveraging Twitter. For Twitter, I mostly just go ahead and recommend it for public relations. X is a bit of a Wild West. So I usually don't recommend it to most businesses in the first place, unless you have something like a food truck or something like that, where you need to put out really fast updates for your clients. But I know somebody else, they went ahead and mentioned, I think it was you, Alexander, TikTok. So for TikTok, it skews a lot younger, 16 to 24. The purpose there being for purely entertainment. For TikTok for businesses, I find it best for lead generation e-commerce. TikTok is probably one of the best platforms for lead generation, just in terms of the organic reach that it goes ahead and has. They will go ahead and recommend your content to just about not necessarily just about everyone, but comparatively other platforms, it is a lot better job of pushing out your content to people that you might not know, who might be interested in your brand, who might not know about your brand. And they have gone ahead and started to get a lot better with e-commerce integrations. So again, similar to Instagram, you can go ahead and basically tag your product inside of a video, and you can go and have people directly purchase the product from the page. The big downside to TikTok is the fact that it's video only format. So it takes a lot more effort than some of the other platforms to go ahead and produce content, because again, it's video. And I know a lot of people can be a little bit on the more iffier side when it comes to video, because again, you have to kind of put yourself out there a bit. So that can be a bit of a challenge. And then they've gotten a lot better with being advertiser friendly. So this might be a little bit of a caveat, but they've historically not been incredibly advertiser friendly. But again, it changes as time goes ahead and goes along. Social moves very fast. And then does anybody do any B2B sales? If not, then I could probably go ahead and skip over LinkedIn.
What is
Okay,
B2B
doesn't-
sales? I'm not sure
Oh,
that.
sorry.
What is that?
Business to business. So that would be basically
just
like
business to
you,
business.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so if the interest of time, I'll skip over LinkedIn since nobody does really B2B. Okay, great. Okay. So I know, like I said, we had Instagram, Facebook, and then TikTok. Actually, before I go to this slide, does anybody have any questions on this? I'm going to do a little bit of a deeper dive onto each one, but on this slide in particular, any questions?
Alexander would like you to go over LinkedIn.
I'm sorry, you see the text post. Thank you. I'll quickly go over LinkedIn. I will question if that's okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, so for LinkedIn, the average age there is about 35 to 55. Purpose for most of the general population of news, article, and networking, specifically professional networking. For businesses, I find it best for business development. It really helps to go ahead and have a presence on LinkedIn to go ahead and kind of boost your credibility as a business, especially selling B2B, and then also lead generation too. In terms of LinkedIn's advertising capabilities, they have really good capabilities in terms of going ahead and, for lack of better words, I know they have the LinkedIn InMail, direct messaging, so you can go ahead and reach out to potential clients directly into their inbox to go ahead and make it a really seamless process instead of having to go ahead and go through the interwebs and having to go ahead and find their contacts and email them directly. Most professional people and most businesses are on LinkedIn, so it creates a really kind of turnkey way to go ahead and reach those leads. The only downside to LinkedIn is limited interactions. So on LinkedIn, for the most part, you can go ahead and of course, go ahead and comment, and you can go ahead and post on people's posts. Outside of that, in terms of some of the advertising, like posting onto somebody's feed or on the front page, it's not necessarily going to be as effective as if you were to go ahead and do it on other social platforms. So for that, like I said, LinkedIn, I probably would go ahead and stick more to like the in-mailing and directly going ahead and reaching out to the individuals that you're looking to go ahead and get those leads from. It can be a little bit interesting going ahead and advertising on LinkedIn, but like I said, for B2B, it's great. Let me actually make sure I have the chat box pulled up. Okay, cool. Okay, it's good, Alexander. Do you have any other questions on LinkedIn? I feel like I'm sorry, I went ahead and kind of breezed through that a little quickly. Okay, so all good for now. Okay, great. Okay, and then Tina, you had a
I have a
question?
question. I'm sorry. I have a question about the LinkedIn, because when you said business to business, because my platform is to expose and also help small businesses market and brand themselves and market themselves. So I do work with small businesses. However, I am a business, the LLC. So is that considered B2B?
It's kind of like it's a middle ground. I mean, that is considered B2B because you are marketing to other businesses, but being the fact that you're doing smaller businesses, a lot more, I guess, larger scale businesses will have more of an active presence on LinkedIn versus like smaller businesses. I feel like they might be on LinkedIn, some of them depending on the industry that you're in. But for the most part, a lot of other small businesses will go ahead and be on something like a Facebook and Instagram, like, a situation over LinkedIn. Remind me again, your
Stephanie.
I'm sorry?
I'm Stephanie.
No, I remember your name, Stephanie, I'm sorry. But your business.
Oh, I have a media platform, but I'm a brand consultant.
Okay, brand consultant for, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. In your case, yeah, I would go ahead and not to go ahead and say that LinkedIn isn't necessarily like a place that you can go ahead and be and exist in, because again, it's a good space for that, especially depending on the types of brands that you want to go ahead and work with. But you're definitely going to find more larger scale businesses on LinkedIn versus like a much smaller. So if you're looking for like a 1 to 5 company situation, there would most likely be on like a Facebook or like Instagram, versus a LinkedIn would go ahead and be a little bit maybe like a 10 to 15 maybe size. But it really, like I said, depends on the industry. Yeah. Okay, and then Tina, I'm sorry, Tina, did you still have your question or did I answer it? And
Actually, I do have a question. Because my market has changed, I'm
Mhm.
still trying to determine which would be a good social platform to use. Um, Before I was going to use Facebook and LinkedIn, but now I'm leaning towards perhaps a blog,
Mm.
and researching that blog in the healthcare arena. But I'm still trying to figure out which one of these would be beneficial, because I still believe very strongly in social media and
Yeah.
won't give up until someone says, hey, don't use it.
That's a good attitude to have. That's great, Tina. No, I like that. I think in your case, I think that's a good strategy. I definitely think that going ahead and leading into, I still think that Facebook has merit for in your case, especially because there are, I know, especially within the kind of like medical, kind of like, you know, survivors of cancer or people who are going through radiation treatment. Like I do know that there are Facebook groups specifically for those types of individuals. So I still think that like I said, Facebook in your case would be a really good place to go ahead and be, especially because like you said, it also does skew a little bit on the older side too. So you're going to have a lot more people who are going ahead and going to fall into that demographic. But I do think a blog would be really, really nice, but that could go ahead and tie in together with your social efforts. You can promote your blog on Facebook and vice versa. So you can go ahead and have your blog linked onto your Facebook page so people can go ahead and go there. And it creates a nice stream to go ahead and promote your blog so you get more readers and followers. But I think those two in combination is like perfect. So you're on the right track for sure.
Great. Thank you so much.
Of course. Okay, any other questions? Okay, cool. I will move along then. Okay, in terms of, like I said, I'm going to do a quick little deep dive onto each one of the platforms, just in terms of like best practices. So for Facebook, like I had mentioned earlier, it's great for events and community building. So for local marketing, advertising, really good for also for live streaming, promoting events and building communities. So it goes back to the point of having those local pages like Long Island Moms, Long Island, you know, beer enthusiasts, Long Island, but dog walkers is a community for pretty much everything. And like I said, really good local advertising capabilities on Facebook. You definitely want to go ahead and leverage Facebook ads if you can. It's very low cost for the most part in terms of bang for your buck. To go ahead and boost posts, you can go ahead and boost a post for as little as $2 a day, and have an effective ad campaign that will go ahead and drive traffic. So if you have a post that's going ahead and doing really well, it's really great to go ahead and boost it. I've heard a lot of people go ahead and say that it's better to go ahead and to post your posts than wait to go ahead and get like a few engagements before you go ahead and boost it. Something about the algorithm goes ahead and it performs better after you go ahead and let it sit for a little while. That's just something I heard recently, but always good to test out. For anything on Facebook and just across social for the matter, it's always good to respond promptly to any comments or messages that anybody sends out. The algorithm will go ahead and favor basically everyone. Any type of engagement that you make and any engagements that come into your page, the algorithm will basically promote your content to more people because it's going and showing the fact that, hey, not only do other people like this content, but this person is also, who's posting it is engaged. Most social platforms, all they want people to go ahead and do is to engage with their platform. That's, you know, like any other business, they have their own objectives and things that they want to accomplish. So anything that you can go ahead and do to go ahead and feed into that is going to go ahead and help to boost your content up. I already mentioned the Facebook groups, and then post frequency for Facebook, anywhere between 3 to 5 times per week. It's for, and that's the caveat. I definitely want to caveat that because like, you know, there's an average, you know, kind of optimum frequency that you want to go ahead and post. You really just want to go ahead and do what you can do, you know, as yourself. I know owning a small business is a lot of work, and having to go ahead and expect to go ahead and post, you know, 5 times per week, especially depending on the type of content that you're posting, can be a lot. So even if it ends up going ahead and being once per week when you first start off, just to go ahead and kind of get your feet wet, that's fine. Then you can go ahead and build over time, but it's really just about going ahead and keeping the momentum and not necessarily dropping off the face of the earth for like 3 months and then going ahead and coming back and posting once and then dropping off the face of the earth for another 2 months. You want to try to go ahead and stay as consistent as possible, because again, that's the algorithm is going to go ahead and favor people who go ahead and tend to stay more consistent than people who go ahead and kind of come back in and out sporadically. Okay, cool. Any questions on Facebook?
Natalie, I have a quick question. So, um, in terms of promoting your business on Facebook, should you be posting from your personal page or from your business page or a combination of both?
You can do a combination of both as long as you're comfortable with that. I mean, if you have a decent amount of friends and family on your personal Facebook group and you don't mind going ahead and posting about your business, that's great. But I would definitely go ahead and direct them to your business page if you are posting on your personal page. You don't want to go ahead and get too mixed up where it's like, people are going ahead and messaging you on your personal account to go ahead and get business. You definitely want to have that business page. It also goes ahead and builds a little bit more credibility. So that way it's kind of like, okay, this is like, a sound business. It's not necessarily I'm just kind of like, you're going ahead and working on like a freelance basis. And that way people who aren't necessarily your friends and family can also go ahead and come find, your page and go ahead and know your brand. It doesn't necessarily just have to be like, oh, Sophia's going and helping me with, with her financial services. It's like, no, this is like its own entity and it creates its own trust and credibility. So you can promote it on your personal page though, but I definitely would have the business page.
I don't know if this session here will touch on this, but at some point, if we will have if you will have time, maybe in this session or another session where we can go in and actually see how to. I think I created my Facebook business page, right? But I'm not sure how to drive traffic to my business page.
Got you. Yeah, I do actually I host a in-person class where I usually tend to go ahead and do more hands-on work there. We have 2 more classes this Saturday and then next Saturday. If you want to go ahead and do more, in-person stuff, I can go ahead and help you one-on-one. But in terms of going ahead and driving traffic, just top of mind, I feel like being the fact that it's a net new business page, and like I said, Facebook doesn't do a great job at promoting, accounts just organically to non-followers. So inside of your case, I probably would go ahead and do maybe a few Facebook ads where you can go ahead and maybe boost a post that you went ahead and posted for, a few dollars and see how it goes ahead and performs. And continue to go ahead and do that to go ahead and draw in new traffic. And then, like I said, to go ahead and promote your business page on your personal page, like invite your friends and family to go ahead and follow the business page to go ahead and just get some traction started.
Okay, I'm not exactly sure how to do that, but maybe that's another conversation for another time.
Yeah. If you're, like I said, if you're in the area and if you're, like I said, Saturdays, like I'll be there this Saturday, next Saturday, and I can go ahead and show you how to go ahead and do it technically. But if you go ahead and look it up, you can look up how to go ahead and invite friends and family to like your page or to follow your page. There's actually a button to go ahead and to do that, especially if your personal account and your business account are linked together. And then in terms of boosting your post, when you post something, there should be a little button at the bottom of the post. If you do it from a business page, that will say boost post. And that'll basically create the ad for you.
Sure. Okay, I think I'll see you, Natalie.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, cool. Okay, there's no more other questions. And this is just a quick look at the best types of content to post on Facebook. So you want to go ahead and post engaging posts. That kind of goes back to the point I was talking about earlier about going ahead and how Facebook tends to go ahead and, or the algorithms in general tend to go ahead and favor people who go ahead and engage, and to go ahead and get those engagements. Posting things like asking questions to your audience, running polls, encouraging discussions to go ahead and give people a reason to go ahead and comment and to like and to talk about your post. Visual content. So images, videos, infographics, imagery, pictures, video is the key to social media. So you definitely want to have some visuals. We had touched early on events, and then customer testimonials. So anytime that you have, customers who go ahead and respond well to your business and your services, it's always good to go ahead and to post those successes to go ahead and inspire confidence in other people who go ahead and like might follow your page or might like it or might go ahead and be on the fence about going for your services. Again, social just in general is good to go ahead and boost credibility. So that's just another way to go ahead and continue to encourage that credibility. Sorry. Any other questions on Facebook before I move on to Instagram?
Are you at some point, are you going to just show us how to post on Facebook? Because I'm a novice. I'm a novice at this. I don't use social media at all. And so will we have time for an example?
We can see. I'm probably going to go ahead and go through Instagram and then TikTok. And then I might touch on, I think, Alexander, you had some interest in LinkedIn. If we have time at the end, I can go ahead and pop in to see. But if not, like I said, for most of the time for the webinars, I like to keep it to the slides and ask questions. But for my in-persons, I do a lot more hands-on stuff where I go ahead and basically work with each person where they're at and help them to go ahead and whether it's set up or to post a post or to make a post. So like I said, if you're into the area, next Saturday and the following Saturday, I will be in person going ahead and doing a lot of one-on-one stuff.
Okay.
I have a question.
The-
You had referred to the algorithms and stuff on Facebook and Instagram. However, if the consistency of the posting will raise up the algorithm. On Facebook, what I've been seeing recently, regardless of the fact if you put great digital and stuff, I feel like Facebook been blocking a lot of features for marketing and promotion, especially they saying some music and content is not able to be posted on social media, and these content is just promotional marketing in certain music that they actually have given to be used on their social media platform be blocking, so the algorithms don't, it doesn't add up. How do you go around that?
So in terms of, it sounds like you're asking about the music and then blocking the music. In terms of a lot of platforms, they can be very tricky in terms of just like they'll block certain posts and sometimes they won't necessarily have like they'll have a reason, but it won't necessarily go ahead and be sound sometimes. But in terms of the music, I know it can be really tricky, especially if you're going ahead and posting from a business account. They usually won't let you go ahead and use a lot of kind of like the popular music and copyrighted music if you have a business account, especially if you're going ahead and posting it not from the platform. If you were to have a personal account, you can kind of get around that a little bit more, but from business accounts, if it's set up as a business account, you'll have a lot more issues with that. I do know
I tried it on many, like I've been trying on my personal. It's like it's blocking, even taking out some of the content and the caption that is put on it. And I do certain promotion and marketing for certain industries. So that's why I'm like with the algorithms. Sometimes even if I post and it allows it to post, the numbers won't come up. And I feel like it'd be great visual that be put out there.
Yeah. Like I said, it can be really tricky with like, because the algorithms, like I said, or the social, like they have a lot of monitoring and going ahead and like they'll have certain stipulations about certain language you can use, certain copyrighted music. A lot of times what I'll go ahead and do, especially if I'm not using the music in the platform, I'll go ahead and like look up royalty-free music, copyright-free music, just to make sure I'm covering all my bases. And the same thing when it comes to images, going ahead and grabbing images off of Google. You can go ahead and get dinged for copyright. If you just kind of just like search up an image, you'll have to go ahead and go to a website that specifically does copyright-free images. I know they have like Prexel and Upsplash will have stock images that you can use that are royalty free. So it's just making sure that you're going ahead and grabbing those images, the sound, the video from places that aren't necessarily going to ding you from copyright.
Awesome. Thank you. I like that information. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Sonia, did you still have a question? I know I couldn't tell if you got cut off or not.
No, what I probably will do is speak with you for a few minutes after, if that's okay.
Okay. It should be okay. I'm gonna assume, Jen. I'm not sure if we get cut off at a certain time. But like I said, if we do have time at the end of it, I will try to go ahead and go in platform with you. But let me go ahead and get through the slides, speaking of which, because I only have 30 more minutes left. So let me pop back into here. Okay, sorry. Okay, great. So then Instagram, again, lead generation e-commerce, we touched on that. Again, really, really good shopping features with the tagging inside of your posts, so people can go ahead and shop your products directly. For Instagram, I do find it important to go ahead and keep consistent aesthetics. Aesthetics just being overall feel and vibe of your page. So trying to go ahead and keep it as cohesive as possible, whether you use a certain color palette that goes ahead and aligns with your brand imaging, certain types of font faces, if you're going ahead and posting like more like, quotes or infographics. So just going ahead and keeping a consistent brand image. It'll look a lot nicer when you go ahead and go to the platform, look a lot more official, and it goes ahead and helps to go ahead and create a certain personality for your brand, so people know what to expect from your services. Whether it's like, more brightly colored stuff that's like, communicates the fact that your brand is more fun and, lively, or if it's like, more like minimalistic, where you go ahead and keep like neutrals and blacks, that'll go ahead and push forth the image that your brand is very professional and, along those lines. Then again, the point about engaging with followers, responding to comments and messages. Then Instagram is another great place to go ahead and collaborate with influencers. So that can be, especially as you go ahead and you build your brand and when you're looking to go ahead and get that reach. There's a certain limitation sometimes to how far your reach can go ahead and go. But going ahead and collaborating with influencers, whether it can even be small scale influencers, a lot of people think that you have to go ahead and go after influencers who have like hundreds of thousands of followers, but a lot of times those influencers, while they might have a lot of followers, they might not necessarily have a lot of engagement. So even going ahead and going with influencers or content creators who might have like 1,000 followers or like 2,000 followers, if they have really high engagement, people are like commenting or liking their posts a lot. And a lot of times they'll go ahead and charge lower rates in terms of going ahead and like wanting to work with them. They might even work with you in exchange for your services or your product. So it's good to go ahead and leverage influencers if you have the budget to go ahead and to get more of that reach inside of your audience pool. And the post frequency for Instagram, between 3 to 7 times per week. Instagram, you really can't fatigue too much as long as you're going ahead and, like I said, staying consistent. Okay, and then quickly, the best types of content for Instagram. I mentioned earlier how video is king, especially for the likes of Instagram and TikTok. So videos being Instagram Reels, they really go ahead and drive the most engagement on the platform. Reels a lot of times are how a lot of times businesses go ahead and go quote unquote viral. It's really a great way to go ahead and kind of get a lot of followers and engagement in a short period of time, especially if you're posting consistently. If you do post photos, you just want to make sure that they're high quality. Like I said, you can go ahead and start off with just using your smartphone, but just making sure that, your camera's in focus. It's not necessarily smudged, so make sure you wipe the camera beforehand. And then just going ahead and, doing any type of enhancement that you can. I recommend everybody here on this call, if you don't pay for, like Adobe or something that's like a larger scale design situation, I recommend you all sign up for Canva. Completely free. They have a free version. And you can go ahead and do things like add graphics, add borders, add text to your images, just to make it a little more fun, a little more engaging. So it's a really way to kind of just like enhance your photos and also videos too. Instagram stories. It's a great way to go ahead and post behind the scenes content. It helps to go ahead and make people feel more connected with your brand and more in tune with your brand. So going ahead and posting kind of just like this is how our services, this is how our like a process for like, how we, make our cupcakes if you're going ahead and if you had a bakery, or like, this is like the behind the scenes 9 to 5 day life of, someone who goes ahead and does like financial services for a living, or, just like I said, make people feel more connected with you, with your brand, to give it a little more personality. It's also good for polls. A lot of people will go ahead and post polls in their stories to go ahead and to go ahead and get customer engagement, to get people going ahead and talking and interacting with their brand, but also to go ahead and engage customer sentiment. So let's say if you're going ahead and changing something about, your product or your brand, and you're kind of on the fence about it, it's good to actually poll your audience to see what they think and what they might like. It's always fun. And then hashtags, again, hashtags are just great for algorithms. It's not necessarily, I wouldn't recommend. A lot of businesses, especially when they start off, will go ahead and tend to go ahead and add like 15 different hashtags to their post. You don't necessarily need to go ahead and do that anymore. When in the earlier days of Instagram, that was definitely like a strategy to go ahead and use. But nowadays, with how the algorithm works, if you add too many hashtags, it can actually go ahead and affect you negatively. They can go ahead and ding your posts as being maybe scammy or spammy. So trying to go ahead and keep your hashtags to about like anywhere from like 3 to 5, just to go ahead and make sure that you kind of check the box so that way you have your keywords, but not to go ahead and go too overboard where they think that your account is a scam. Yeah, any questions on Instagram?
Natalie, I have a quick question. So if you're posting a video on Instagram, then
you should use a reel. And then if you're just posting content, that should be go in your story, go into stories.
If it's content, depending on the content, if it's like a picture, then you could probably just post it on your feed. You can always go ahead and make any, like if you're posting content, you can always turn it into a story. A story is basically just like another place for it to live. And it can be a video or it can be a picture. You can repost from your regular feed content. But if it's a video, I do recommend posting a reel. If it's an image, it'll just be a regular image post or a carousel, which is just a collection of images, which actually performs decently well too. If you were to post an image, a carousel is a nice way to go ahead and to do it to still get that engagement. But yeah, you can do both. But if you're doing a video, definitely recommend doing reels.
Thank you.
Of course. Okay, any other questions? Okay, cool. Okay, then TikTok. So for TikTok, really great way to go ahead and get brand awareness. Like I said, the reach across the board of all the socials is the best on TikTok. It has similar, if not better, reach than Instagram. So for TikTok, you really want to embrace the trends on TikTok. So that goes ahead and includes using trending sounds, trending formats, trending challenges. They don't necessarily do as many challenges as they used to, but like I said, going ahead and leveraging those like sounds that are popular sounds, basically just being either music or just audio that people go ahead and make originally. And when you open up the TikTok app, when you go ahead and make content, there'll be a little tab where it says add music, and you can sort by trending. So anytime that you go ahead and make something, always try to go ahead and leverage trending sounds. And you can adapt your content accordingly. Like if you see something on TikTok, you're like, oh, like I noticed a lot of people are going ahead and doing, using this type of sound, like you can go ahead and adjust and kind of build your content around that. So TikTok is definitely here for the trends, especially because it skews a lot younger. Popular music, this is the point I talked about earlier. And then TikTok, it's really important to go ahead and be genuine and authentic with your content on TikTok. Being the fact that TikTok does skew younger, these are a lot of individuals who grew up with a phone in their hands, are very, very in tune with how social works and how advertisers will go ahead and try to sell to them. So going ahead and trying to be as genuine and authentic so it doesn't go ahead and come off too salesy or fake is really going to be important, because a lot of times the users on TikTok especially can really sniff that out. So, you want to go ahead and do stuff like, behind the scenes content and just trying to be as transparent as possible about your brand, especially with this platform. And the post frequency for here, you can post as many times as you want on TikTok, the more the better. But anywhere between 5 to 7 times per week is usually what they go ahead and recommend. But again, like I said, my point earlier, just do as much as you can. Okay, and then the best types of content for TikTok, short videos, no longer than 30 seconds. Even 30 seconds, it can go ahead and be fatiguing for sometimes for people. So I usually tend to recommend like 15 seconds if you can, 20 seconds, but no more than 30. Again, trends, I mentioned that earlier. Educational content, such as like quick tips and hacks related to your product or service. Keep it really fun and engaging. And then duets, so going ahead and recycling content from other people and going ahead and either reacting to it or commenting on it or going ahead and being a part of it is a great way to go ahead and to not only engage with the audience that you're looking to go ahead and to purchase your product or your service, but to also to go ahead and just, gain general awareness by going ahead and being able to hop on the popularity of whatever other video you're using for your content. Okay, any questions on TikTok? Okay, cool.
Yes. For somebody who's new to TikTok, because my kids and I really don't want to ask too much questions because time is of the essence and I really want to get through everything. But for a person who's new to like video and uncomfortable of doing, putting their face and stuff on video, how are you able to, what other sources or stuff that we can post on TikTok for like short videos and the trends?
So it's a challenge that a lot of people have. A lot of this is just across the board about going ahead and getting on socials, to putting your face out there, especially your face on video. It's really nerve-wracking. I do recommend, if you're going to go ahead and do TikTok, to you know, at some point, go ahead and give it a try and just go ahead and kind of plow through the discomfort. But in terms of alternatives to it, you can always go ahead and, like I said, leverage something like Canva, where you go ahead and you use stock videos to go ahead and you know, and then overlay with information. Because again, with TikTok, it's going to be all video. So you have to go ahead and post some type of video on there. You can just use your voice. I know a lot of times people will go ahead and just, you know, have like the overlay of images or videos and just go ahead and use their voice to go ahead and talk about a certain topic, to have it faceless. But especially with something like TikTok, it's definitely a thing where I'm like, I do recommend you going ahead and putting your face on there. I know it's nerve-wracking, but if you can go ahead and just give it a try, give it a go, and you know, the worst that can happen, it's because it's very visual. And like I said, they really do appreciate the transparency, but to go ahead and get started, just to get like a toe in the water, like I said, just using your voice and going ahead and using stock images or stock footage, or even your own, you know, video of, you know, other things around you aside from you, with your voiceover, it can also go ahead and work too. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Right, so then I'll move along. If anyone has any questions. No one really is interested in Twitter. Skip that. LinkedIn, I'll briefly touch on. So again, B2B lead, business to business lead generation. It's a great way to network and connect with other professionals in your industry and engage in conversations. For LinkedIn, you definitely want to go ahead and engage, and especially comment on other people's posts. So whether that be breaking news or someone, you know, who is within your audience niche, going ahead and commenting on their post, liking their post, is a great way to go ahead and build those professional connections and to go ahead and network, but online. So you definitely want to go ahead and just engage, especially with LinkedIn. Recommendations, you can request recommendations from satisfied clients and colleagues. That'll go ahead and help to go ahead and boost your credibility on LinkedIn. There should be like, if you go to the bottom of your LinkedIn page, they'll go ahead and have like recommendations or endorsements, basically, which will go ahead and basically help to boost your brand's credibility and your professional credibility. And then, like I said, using LinkedIn ads, so targeting specific demographics, using their advertiser platform. I really am a fan of, like I said, the in-mail, the direct mail, going ahead and to directly reach out to those prospects to go ahead and to see if they'd be interested inside your business. It's really direct, as opposed to going ahead and doing something like advertising on their front page or their feed. Most people don't necessarily go ahead and really look, at least on the little sidebar. You can always go ahead and do the in-post advertising, which can be effective. But I tend to find more people have more luck with their brand, especially going ahead and getting sales from the indirect. But if you're just looking to build awareness, you can always do the in-feed advertising. But two different strategies, but you can leverage both. And then post frequency for LinkedIn is definitely going to be on the lower side. You can post anywhere from 2 to 4 times per week. You can do once per week. LinkedIn's a place where you can fatigue your audience very quickly, especially because it's a professional network. You definitely want to go ahead and try to keep it just not too weak. Stuff like news, especially news specific to your industry, comments on other people's posts, add your 2 cents, your opinion, ask the opinion of others. People love to go ahead and talk about opinions and take the latest news on LinkedIn. So that's definitely a good strategy to go ahead and use. Like I said, best types of content for LinkedIn, professional updates, so company news, achievements and milestones that you want to celebrate, industry insights. So like I had mentioned earlier, posting articles, infographics, and statistics related to your field. Thought leadership, so sharing your expertise through thought-provoking articles and posts, like I had mentioned earlier, with going ahead and posting onto other people, sharing your opinion, and then job postings, because you know that's LinkedIn. But yeah, any questions on LinkedIn?
Well, I'm not sure if there will be an opportunity for some teaching regarding creating a LinkedIn page or a business page, more or less.
I don't think we have the time, like I said, in this class, but if, like I said, if
Just
we
in
go ahead and
general.
come,
Just in
yeah, in general, for my classes, I usually go ahead and, like I said, do that after class during like our little consultation time. So if that's something that you're interested in, I can definitely help you with that for sure.
Thank you.
Of course. Okay. No other questions on LinkedIn though? No. Okay, great. Okay. Stage 3, planning your strategy. So some of this I had gone ahead and touched on, but basically just making sure that you know your audience before you go ahead and put in the work to go ahead and just really like just go knee deep in social. Knowing your audience is going to go ahead and be key, kind of tying back to platforms we talked about earlier, just making sure that with their content, the platforms you're on, they all align with your audience, their interests, their age, their behaviors, especially for the platforms, the pain points for your content, making sure you identify the problems that your audience faces or the benefits that they're looking for, and just communicating that through all of your content. And like I had said, the preferred platforms. And then just a quick note here about a really good tool that most people go ahead and use for social media calendars. It can take the form of a Word document. It can be a notebook. It can go ahead and be an Excel sheet. But going ahead and planning your content ahead of time and having it all together is going to go ahead and really help you with the consistency of your content. Just taking the time, maybe like a few hours, and like let's say like a Sunday for 2 hours, you go ahead and set a timer, and then you go ahead and just plan out, even if it's for an hour, you just plan out your posts that are coming up for either the week or for the month, just to make your life a whole lot easier. Because having to go ahead and just sit down and just make a post in real time to go ahead and post it, it's really a losing battle of going ahead and just getting really burnt out really quickly. So having those post ideas, so that way you can go ahead and plan it ahead of time and then post it on a specific schedule. So you know, kind of just like, okay, like an idea of what you're going to post, having an idea of what time and date it's going to go ahead and live, and that way you can kind of stagger out the types of posts. For social, I do tend to go ahead and recommend people to go ahead and switch it up. So if you're going ahead and posting like an educational content, maybe you might want to go ahead and do like, you know, a poll the next time, or, you know, something a little bit more like, you know, like fun or entertaining. So kind of just switching up the content, going ahead and mixing it up with like reels, maybe like a carousel a different day, a quiz another day, like just going ahead and making sure you keep it fresh and planned. And then this is just a little example of a very built out social calendar. Yours doesn't have to look as intense as this one, but just to give you an idea of what you can go ahead and put down in your social calendar, again, just to make your life easier. So you can post channel, the day of the week that you're publishing it, the date, whether it's been published or not, around the time that you're looking to publish it, your captions, the type of content, whether it's a GIF, a video, text only, and then the link that the place that you want to drive that the audience to. So whether that's your website or like a landing page, a sign up sheet, an email, newsletter, sign up, whatever it might be. So again, it's just good to go ahead and to plan. It's going to help you stay consistent. Okay. I kind of touched on a bit of this. I'm just making sure I'm just pacing myself with the time. Yeah, I feel like I touched on a good amount. So let's get for that. And then finally, step 4, execute it consistently. So I touched on a little bit of this too, but like I said, plan ahead.
Natalie, Natalie, hi, may I see that slide again, please?
This one?
Yes, can you, let's see. No, the next one.
Oh, the next one? Or the one prior, you're talking about this one.
This one here. The one prior. Okay, so what was after this one here?
This one.
No, this one is the next one. Okay, that's what I wanted to. Okay, good. Okay.
Okay, am I good to keep going? Okay.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay. So these are just some tips on staying consistent. So like I said, using the content calendar to go ahead and plan your content a week, a month, or even a quarter in advance, as much as you can go ahead and do. As far ahead, I usually don't recommend doing any more than a month. If you can plan a month in advance, it's great, but things go ahead and happen, and it's hard to go ahead and plan that sometimes that ahead of time. So at least a week ahead of time, if you can, just to go ahead and just to figure out like, okay, like I'm going to post on you know, Thursdays, and this will be my time to post. And, I'll go ahead and make and draft the content on Sunday, so I can have it ready to go ahead and go like Thursday at like 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. To just keep yourself accountable and consistent. That kind of goes into the next point about the dedicated time. Then also it's really good to use templates. Templates just meaning kind of like a certain type of post that you go ahead and post. Some people like to go ahead and call them like, content series. So you can have an educational series where you can go ahead and do like, let's say a financial 101, or like a lookbook, series where you go ahead and do like a lookbook for like the seasons or for a certain type of event, using your products. I know, I forget who it was who went ahead. I think it might have been you, Sana, who had, or with either Thelma, who went ahead and it was doing a boutique business, but like lookbooks, especially because fashion is very visual. So having different types of series or templates that you go ahead and use to make it easier to go ahead and put out your content. So, you could go ahead and have designated types of posts that you go ahead and post, and you can go ahead and fill content that goes ahead and fills within that bucket. So, for your financial series, you can go ahead and, have one where it's like, again, you talk about taxes one day, you can go ahead and talk about, invoices another day, you can talk about, whatever it might go ahead and be. And it just fits within the designated template or series. So it just makes it a lot easier for you to go ahead and come up with those ideas. And then if you're going ahead and going across multiple platforms, you can repurpose content, if you're going ahead and doing, a blog post, repurposing that blog post into social content and vice versa, goes ahead and makes your job a lot easier. There's no reason that you have to go ahead and post something net new across every single platform. You can just go ahead and repurpose it and just make sure that you go ahead and put it into the right format for each platform. So like a rule of thumb for like, let's say if you're going ahead and doing a video, it's good to go ahead and to do it in a vertical format. I don't know, I was going and searching for the word, a vertical format. So that way you can go ahead and repurpose it for across the board. Having to do horizontal videos is really difficult and tricky, especially if you're posting reels, because it'll go ahead and come up as just like this little box, and it'll have two black boxes underneath it, and it just doesn't necessarily look attractive for social. So vertical. If you're doing posting any videos on social, vertical for everything. Also, thank you, Alexander. I see your comment. I also love a good Excel template with the color coding and formatting. Excel is my favorite. Yeah, but that's staying consistent. Okay, and we're coming to the wrap up. We have about 10 minutes left. So these are just some key takeaways. I'll go through this super quick. Consistency, engagement, authenticity. Tailor your content based on your audience's preferences and the nature of your business. And then just experiment, analyze, and adjust your strategy. Just get out there and post and see what people react to, and rinse and repeat. Yeah, so that's really about it.
Natalie, Alexander
Yes.
wants to know if you have a suggestion for a template they can use, and that you can use for managing across social media posts.
Okay. I guess in terms of thank you, Jen. In terms of managing across social posts, do you mean like a template that you can use to, like a program that you can use to go ahead and help post across multiple platforms, or do you mean like a format for your post that you can use across platforms?
He says similar to the one you showed.
Okay, so like you're talking about for the content calendar. So
Yes, to an Excel calendar.
got you. So you can either go ahead and, like I said, you can use Excel just like you have over here, and then just copy and paste into your respective platforms. But if you want to go ahead and do something more succinct that will post for you, actually I have a slide at the back that I put in the appendix, so I didn't think anybody was going to need it, but it works perfectly for this. Oh, did I delete it? I might have deleted it. I did delete it. Oh no. But you can go ahead and use, let me see if I can undo. Nope. Never mind. But you can use, there's a few different programs that you can go ahead and use. You can use something like a Hootsuite, a Loomly, I think it's called. They're programs that basically go ahead and you plug in your socials, social handles into the program. And then you can go ahead and basically schedule and upload everything from that platform. So you don't have to go ahead and manually go into each platform to go ahead and to post. If you look up platforms similar to Hootsuite or Loomly, more should go ahead and come up. There's like at least like 5 or 6 to 7 different types of platforms that you can use. They all have their different benefits and pros and cons, and different pricing too. That's the thing about a lot of the social content planners, especially if you're doing something that's automated or integrated, it's going to go ahead and it can be a little bit pricey depending on which one you go with. I think some of them it's like $99 a year or like $30 a month or something like that. But if you are across multiple different platforms and you're posting that consistently, it makes it a lot easier, especially because having to go into each one can be a little bit tedious. But if you're just doing the one, I would just probably go ahead and do something like an Excel. If you're doing Instagram, Facebook, Excel is still fine too, because you're basically posting on the same platform. You can cross post. But if you're doing it across multiple, then you can look into something like a Hootsuite or like a Loomly, or something to that effect. Does that answer your question?
I have a question. Two. The original from what you started answering, as far as what templates that we can use across the board to do like the marketing, as far as the landscaping and stuff, like as far as the content around the banner or little thirds and stuff, what platform can we go to acquire that to make it look more appeasing?
So for that one, I would go ahead and use, like I would go ahead and use the Canvas. So here, I'll pop out here since we're done with the slides. So this is Canva. So
I have Canva and I've been looking. It's just been showing me lower thirds, but I want to be able to use those content when I do like Facebook Lives instead of per se doing a video and uploading the video. Like, you know how those people be interacting with like they've been doing with the backdrops with pictures and stuff, but per se doing the backdrop, how can I have like a banner, a consistent banner?
So are you talking about specifically for the lives, or are you talking about like in
general?
Okay. So I just want to go ahead and just restate to clarify the question. So you're asking about like a banner that you can go ahead and have almost like behind yourself or on the screen to go ahead and, okay, on the screen as like a template to go ahead and to use for like for videos or for Instagram Live?
Both.
So you can go ahead and, like I said, you can create something like that in Canva, but it just depends on the formatting. So if you go ahead and go through these, you'll see like they have different templates for something like Instagram stories, Instagram reels. I'm trying to think if they have anything for Instagram Live, but Instagram Live should technically still be the same size as like an Instagram story because it's the same way that you're viewing the screen. So if you click on something like an Instagram story, then you can go ahead and plug and play and go ahead and basically just size the banner to whatever they have here. And you can go ahead and create it from something like this, or you can go ahead and create it from a blank template. And then you can just drag and drop, you can put like a square and go across like that. Change the color. And you said you had used Canva, but you said you were having issues with it, that it wasn't, what issues were you having?
It wasn't allowing me, I don't know, I guess to transfer the template to Instagram for me to do my Instagram Live.
So the lives I know are a bit different than like something like a reel. Didn't the fact that a live is live. It can be a little bit more technically tricky. I believe that there is a way to go ahead and do it, but we would have to go ahead and be like in platform. I haven't gone ahead and worked with a lot of clients who go ahead and use Instagram Live. So it's not necessarily 100% in my wheelhouse in terms of like how to technically do it, just kind of offhand. But like I said, if you go ahead and come in person, I can always go ahead and help you.
Yeah, I'll be there
and
this
like plug and play.
Saturday and the following.
Oh,
And-
okay, perfect. So let me go ahead and write a note to go ahead and make sure I cover that.
And I wanted to know your thoughts on System IO, if you know anything about it.
I've heard of it before, but let me just make sure I double check. 'Cause okay, so it's an all-in-one marketing platform. So it's kind of like similar to like we had talked about like a Hootsuite or even like a Constant Contact, where you can go ahead and basically just do a lot of your marketing efforts in one place. So it looks like you can go ahead and do email, you can do like payment, like all of these things are good. All of them are going to have their pros and cons. It's similar to something like a Hootsuite or like a Constant Contact. I haven't necessarily worked with System IO myself personally, but it's nice that you can go ahead and get a free account. All of them are going to kind of pretty much do similar things. But if you want to automate your process, I always, it's always a great way to go ahead and automate and put things all together. So you don't have to go to 1,001 different places to do all of your marketing efforts, especially if you're going ahead and setting up several different types of marketing campaigns, whether that be like email in combination with social, in combination with blogs, in combination with, so that way they're all hosted in one place. So if you're doing multiple different streams, then it's great for that. But like I said, a lot of these are going to go ahead and have like, pricing for, per month or per year. And it's good to go ahead and they usually have comparison charts. Like if you want to look at like marketing platform comparison charts in terms of like the services that they offer and the price, I would definitely go ahead and do that. So you can do like a little shopping comparison so you can see which one would get the best bang for your buck. So you don't have to necessarily pay out the nose when you can go ahead and pay. You can find a cheaper platform that does the same thing.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate you.
I'm sorry. I have a question. This is Thelma. In the future, do you know if you're gonna have any classes on how to create a page, like a website? And also, if in the future, will they have any classes how to edit videos?
Yeah. What's the base? We can definitely go ahead and look into. I know we do have a marketing series coming up with Helen. I think she might touch on maybe like a little bit of video editing in Canva. I'm not 100% sure, but if that's something that she doesn't touch on, we can definitely go ahead and mark that down to go ahead and to be a thing. I actually, one of the next things I want to go ahead and do as a part of the social media series is to build out more of the content creation and the video creation. I do have a class on that. That class actually just passed this past Saturday, but we're definitely going to be starting up the series again, where we go and basically dive on content creation and basically how to make content. So like you said, the video editing component, creating like images and posts and stuff like that. So I do cover that a bit in my social media series, but that class actually just passed, but we'll be restarting it again, I think come like March, I think.
Okay.
But we do have classes.
All right. Thank you.
Of course.
How about the webpage?
The webpage, I've touched on the webpage before. I haven't gone ahead and done that series in a little while, but we can definitely go ahead and probably mark that down as an upcoming maybe class, maybe sometime in like, again, March, maybe April. But Helen and I also might go ahead and touch on that too. I have to go ahead and double check on the upcoming classes. But I can go ahead and send you the slides that I went ahead and did for the class that I went ahead and did for website building in the meantime.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can go ahead
I'll
and I can do
appreciate it.
that.
Yes, thank you.
Of course. No problem. No problem. And I think that actually brings us to time. Does anybody have any last minute questions before we go ahead and hop off?
Natalie, I have a question. Next week, Thursday, there's Boost Your Business with Social Media in Canva. Are you teaching?
Yeah. No, that's Helen. That was the class I was talking about before. But Helen, she's really great in Canva. She goes ahead and she works in there pretty diligently. So it's a really good class, especially if you want to go ahead and get your hands more dirty and see. She does a lot of one-on-one examples and does like, I think she takes examples from people in the audience and she does like rough drafts in Canva. So it's really good as a good crash course in Canva and branding and stuff. So it's good. I do recommend.
Okay, and you said something about there's a marketing for social media. What did you just say about social media? Series or something that you're teaching or that you just taught?
Oh yeah, that's the content creation. So that class was that's what I did this past Saturday. I covered on it. It was about basically how to go ahead and make depending on the platform that you're posting on, how to go ahead and create like image posts versus video posts versus like educational content, polls. So it really gets into the nitty-gritty of how to create posts for social. And we go ahead and get hands-on. Like I said, for all of my classes, I like to dedicate the first half to learning and then the second half to going ahead and doing one-on-one time so that way you have at least an hour dedicated to going ahead and actually getting some work done. So yeah, that was the past class I did. But like I said, I'm going to start up the classes again in March. That'll be like the refresh of the series. And then I do have 2 classes coming up next week and the week after too. So if you have anything specific. Yeah.
Yes, so you're a Saturday social media advertising and targeting.
Yeah, so that's the next class. The next class is going to go ahead and go into more of the advertising side of things. So that's like the paid side of social. So that's going ahead and making ads and boosting your post. But like I said, if there's anything that's within the realm of social that you want to go ahead and need my help with the last hour of class, then we can go ahead and it doesn't have to be advertising related.
No, good. I'm going to try and attend this class on February 3rd, actually.
Okay, cool. So that's the one this Saturday. Okay, well, I hope to see you there.
Well, Natalie, I have a question for you, if it's okay. If I'm not able to attend the class,
Mhm.
do you have like classes like this online?
I do. This would be the class, the Thursday classes that we have, the webinars that are online. The Saturdays are in person. But I know we're always looking to go ahead and expand and offer different things. So that can definitely, I'm definitely going to take that as a note to maybe go ahead and consider it sometime into the future. But I do go ahead and do this Thursday series. We refresh it every few months. I'll go ahead and hop on and do web versions of this. But if it's something that you're interested in, I can also go ahead and send you the slides for the in-person classes if you can't go ahead and make it in person.
Yeah, if you could, can I give you my email address?
Yeah, sure. Actually, I think if you registered for the class, whatever email you registered for the class, I can always send it to you.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
it's that email address, Sonia. Yes.
Okay. Perfect.
You could send it to the whole class, I guess.
Yeah, I'll send these slides over to the class so like everyone goes ahead and has it, and then yeah, okay.
See, because for me, I'm really just starting out. I have a Facebook account, but I have not used Facebook in years. I mean, I cannot tell you the last time I was actually on Facebook. So I'm just getting started. So I need as much information as possible in terms of how to use Facebook. I mean, can give me some suggestions in terms of what I need to do now, just to put myself in a better position? Because I don't know Facebook at all. I mean, I don't even know how to post.
Gotcha. Actually, before I'm going to answer your question, but if anybody needs to go ahead and hop off, feel free to. I know we're a little 5 minutes over time, so if you want to stay on, you're more than welcome to. If not, thank you for joining.
No, Natalie, hold for me for a second. I need to put my charger in. Okay, hold on one second.
Oh yeah, take your time. Like you said, Jen, is it okay if we stay on for a little bit longer so Sonia can I can answer Sonia's question, or we had
we do have a couple minutes before we get kicked out, so I would
Okay.
just like to wrap it up as fast as we can.
Okay. So we got probably like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Okay, Sonia, we do go ahead and at a certain time we do go ahead and get kicked out of a few minutes. So if you do disconnect, I can always follow up via email with any specific questions.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I didn't realize I needed to put my charger on.
I will put our
so-
phone number and email in the chat so that everybody can reach out to us with any further questions we don't answer tonight.
Okay, great.
Okay, fantastic. So I guess on that note, well, I hope everyone enjoyed, and I hope everyone has a good rest of their night. And I'll hopefully see some of you soon in person.
Okay, you guys gonna send your information?
Yes. Yeah, I'll go ahead and like I said, we're gonna send I think Jen's posting into the chat that we have, and then I will be following up with everyone with slides via email. So if you have any other additional questions that you have, you can always go ahead and follow up to that email with any questions. And then, like I said, I'm in person on Saturdays for my classes, so you can go ahead and ask them in person to me then too.